I'm Tim, and at long last, the wait is finally over. I've spent the last couple of months trying to figure out how to do my new YouTube series, The Epic Games Lot, and I think I've finally come up with a system that will allow me to make the best videos possible. Introducing The Wheel. This state-of-the-art website that can be run in anybody's browser is what I'm going to be using to decide which game is going to be improperly critiqued next. The initial plan was to just go in alphabetical order, but with Epic giving out a new batch of games every week, that system could become a bit problematic. And so, I leave my fate up to the wheel that has over 150 games on it. Without further ado, it's time to begin the first ever episode of the Epic Games Lot. And as an added bonus, to increase the random aspect, I set the wheel to spin for 30 seconds. So who knows what we're gonna get. Alright, first episode, what do you got for me? Okay.
5 minutes of peace! It's our new record!
Tormentor X Punisher is an arcade-style top-down indie shooter developed by eStudio and published by Raw Fury. It was released back in early June of 2017, and favored positively by the majority of players that got their hands on it. Personally, I think the game is very good. It does a marvelous job at being a game that's easy to play, difficult to master, and fun the entire way through, no matter how badly you suck at it. On the surface, there isn't much in the way of a story, but here's basically all you need to know. The story begins on Dick's Moon Bar, where a brooding, pink-haired woman is knocking back pint after pint of Dick's finest brew. An alien on the other side of the bar is talking to his drinking buddy about a supposed demon sighting, which sends our nameless female protagonist into an absolute frenzy. And so, we take our story over to the planet Fuck You, where demons are celebrating not being killed for an entire 5 minutes. I gotta tell you, intergalactic demon hunting is really becoming a problem. Screamy Lady makes an example out of one of the demons, and in doing so ends the 5 minutes of peace. What follows is a slaughter of massive proportions, an endless supply of demons being mercilessly killed because... It's never directly explained, but they are demons, so I'm just gonna pretend that this is all justified. Like I said, when it comes to narrative, Tormentor X Punisher doesn't have a whole lot going for it. But what it lacks in narrative, it absolutely makes up for in... The gameplay of Tormentor X Punisher has a very simple premise. Kill demons. Your weapon, which I can only assume is how the game got its name, is a combination of an automatic rifle and a shotgun. Your rifle is your primary method of attacking, but it runs out of ammo fairly quickly, and the only way to reload it is to fire your shotgun. In short, the combat is very fast-paced, as you'll quickly get yourself in the rhythm of spraying down an army of demons, brutally finishing a small cluster of demons with a shotgun, and then repeating the cycle all over again. But this doesn't mean you can just run and gun and expect everything to be fine. One of the main selling points of Tormentor is that everything dies in one hit. Enemies, bosses, and most importantly, you. In the earlier minutes of a run, there's a good chunk of time where demon spawns aren't too frequent, but the difficulty picks up more and more as the minutes tick on, and you'll quickly find yourself in situations of having to deal with absolute Mongolian hordes of demons. Even though bosses die in one hit, they are truly forces to be reckoned with. There are 7 unique bosses, 1 secret boss, and they will all mess you up if you are not careful. Even worse, each boss has an effect on the environment. For example, Golem throws rocks, Gutshank has saw blades, and Big Bones has... gas. When that boss dies, those environmental effects stay in the arena, making it even more difficult to navigate. Every time you kill an enemy or boss, you get a certain number of points, and if you die, your score gets added to a computer-wide scoreboard. This way you can either track your progress, or even compete with your friends on the same system. Once your score is submitted, it's right back to the start to try again. While this can get particularly tedious if you're not making any progress on top scores, seeing a new high score on the board gives you a fantastic sense of accomplishment, letting you know that your determination and lightning-fast reaction time held out for just a little bit longer than the last time. And then you try again and get like 6,000 points and feel like shit. Maybe that's just me. But who's to say that the next run won't be just a little bit better? Now that we've got the main story and gameplay out of the way, it's time to move on to the most opinionated part of the whole video, gushes and gripes, focusing on the little things that I absolutely loved or really fucking hated. First, the gushes. As I stated before, whenever a boss dies, there is an environmental effect that stays in the arena for the duration of the run, and this system rocks. It adds a whole new layer of danger to an already dangerous situation, forcing you to pay attention more and more, guaranteeing that you can't just run circles around the arena and be completely safe. And speaking of running circles, the controls are by far some of the best that I've seen in a game like this. The controls center around using WASD to move, and the left and right mouse buttons to fire your weapon. The player's default speed is perfect, being just fast enough to be able to evade any dangerous encounters, but also not too fast that it feels difficult to control. And the gunplay is absolutely cathartic. There's a satisfying kick whenever you fire your shotgun, and the rhythm of cycling between both the rifle and the shotgun is an amazing feeling. The soundtrack definitely isn't for everyone, but it is a perfect fit for a game like this. The tracks are gritty, full of bassy percussion, punchy synths, and some of the dirtiest power chords you will ever hear. There have been a couple of times throughout my playthroughs where I've caught myself shooting my shotgun to the rhythm of the music, which just goes to show you how much it draws you in and gets you pumped up for a fight. And finally, to round out the gushes, every time you die, you are greeted by a little goblin that takes the credit for your death and mocks your corpse. And I just love him.
All along, it was me! Fuck you!
Now, it's time for the gripes. And there are a few. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for female protagonists in all different forms of media, but when the protagonist in question's personality generally revolves around this...
Yeah! Let's fucking do this!
Enjoyment can be affected. I don't outright hate the voice acting, and this especially isn't a jab at Issa and, the voice actor who plays the protagonist. However, the constant swearing and screaming can get grating at times. Fortunately, if you just want the screaming, there's a family-friendly option in the game's options menu. But at the same time, who doesn't love swearing for the sake of swearing? I sure do. Twat. By default, the screen shake option in settings is set to the normal option, but the screen shake at that level is honestly way too much for my liking. It got to the point where shit was happening so fast and the screen was shaking so badly that I died way too much. This was remedied by turning the screen shake option to light in the settings menu, but for the time that I did use it, it did get to be quite annoying. Okay, I'm going to say this in the nicest way that I possibly can. Fuck the shield guys. The shield demons are constantly facing toward you, and they move like they're walking through molasses. Your bullets can't penetrate the shield, so naturally the only way to kill them is to close the distance between you so that you can get a clear shot from the back. The only draw is that it is never that easy, because the second you're within a certain range of them, they start bum-rushing you at speeds that are faster than your movement speed. And even then, you still can't kill them until they stop dead in their tracks, to which you can slowly get behind them and kill them with a shot to the back. It's not rewarding, and it is the most annoying part of any run. I've had more runs ended by shield demons than any other enemy in the game, including the bosses. And for my last gripe, this one is actually a little bit of both. Tormentor features a combo system where you can utilize both of your guns plus the attacks of other demons to kill demons in a multitude of interesting ways. If you kill an enemy using a combo a certain amount of times, you unlock a permanent upgrade that stays with you for the rest of the run. This is a great idea in theory, but in practice it can get kind of frustrating. My main gripe is that none of the available combo requirements in the game are ever communicated to the player, so you have to figure them all out for yourself. This wouldn't be so bad if you could go off of context clues, but the names of the combos are even more confusing. There have been times where I got a combo and then tried to get the same combo doing what I thought was the exact same thing, but instead nothing happens, so I'm still stuck trying to figure out what every single combo is. However, admittedly, the combos themselves when you can actually pull them off are devastatingly powerful, to the point where it is worth it to go out of your way to learn the different combos. In short, the process is frustrating, but the payoff is huge. Tormentor X Punisher is a fantastic blend of fast-paced action and infinite replayability. The game does a great job of keeping you on your toes while maintaining a hard but fair difficulty curve throughout every single run. There are very little times where death doesn't feel justified. When you die, it is entirely your fault, and the only thing you can do is give it another shot and beat your previous record. The random rotation of the bosses keeps every new run feeling fresh, and the bosses themselves are equal parts challenging and rewarding to beat. The game has its fair share of annoyances, but none of them keep me from enjoying every single run that I have. For the most part, they're more just obstacles that I need to circumvent. On the Tim scale, Tormentor X Punisher gets a 7. If you wish to give it a try for yourself, Tormentor X Punisher is available digitally on Steam, Mac, and of course, Epic Games, for the modest price of $7.99. Hey, yes, you. I'm talking to you, right now. Let's go. Thanks for watching the first episode of the Epic Games lot. Sorry it took so long, but I needed to get into the right creative mindset to make the best video that I possibly could. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like or a nice little comment. Both are highly appreciated. And by the way, I read all of my comments, so don't say like really weird shit. If you like my content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. I use this channel to make the content that I want to make, and no algorithm is going to stop me from posting what I want. Well, that's about it. See you in 11 months for the next episode. Bye.